Okay, everyone, welcome to another session of our One World Energy Encounter with the Zohar. We are in the portion of Yitro, and we're going to be on paragraph 444. Let's invite in the lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rabbi Shlag, Rabbi Brandwein, the Ria Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tarfon, Rabbi Avram Zulai, Rabbi Nachman Mendel of Vitebsk, Rav Kolon Shapir Piasetzna, the Baal Shem Tov, Arshim Bar Yochai, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, Yosef Tzadik in Shechem. As we connect to these verses, we want to have a consciousness of spreading the light of the upper realm, the light of fulfillment, of healing, of protection, for every place in the world. Let's specifically shine the light in Turkey and Syria, where there's a lot of chaos going on because of this death and destruction from the earthquake that took place earlier this week. Let's also think about everyone we know who needs physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, and send them energy of healing. We also want to connect to the energy of avat chinam, unconditional love, and treating everyone with human decency. Chana, I see your hand is up. Do you have something you want to say?
Yes, I wanted everyone to know that I corresponded with some friends in Israel, and they have felt the tremors of the earthquakes. It was in the news, but sometimes the news is more about what the engineers are picking up rather than what people are picking up. So it's been intrusive.
Yeah, I'm sure it has been. Yeah, well, there's upheaval in the physical world, literally. So thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that was going on. Okay. Anyone want to volunteer to read English for us today? Okay, Maria, thank you. So verse 444. Now, this portion is Yitro. Jethro. Who was Jethro? Who was Yitro?
Moses' father-in-law.
Yeah, father-in-law.
Uh-huh.
So in the narrative, what Jethro does is, he was a priest, a Midianite priest. He was one of the advisors to Pharaoh. And he decides to leave all that behind and join this initiative that his son-in-law is running, which basically was forming a nation called Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, the children of Jacob, literally. It's the tribes and their progeny. And it's not an ethnic thing. It's not a tribal thing. It's a change the world thing. It's a consciousness thing. And so what Jethro does is he shifts his consciousness big time. And so he merits like having a portion named after him, which is a pretty rare thing. There aren't a lot of portions named after people, let alone someone from outside the tribe. And so the first thing that we need to understand is none of this has anything to do with who you're born to, who your parents were, what region you grew up in, what town you grew up in, who you played Little League for. Has nothing to do with that. And it's everything to do with consciousness. And that's what Jethro stands for, this ability to return to the soul, to Shuvah, to return to the hay, to connect with our soul. And that is consciousness. We're on page 211, volume 10, Yitro. And it's verse 444 we're about to read. So that's the first thing that it is about. So it's a tremendous opportunity for us to awaken our consciousness in ways that it's not been aware of before. Second big deal that happens this week, and which we'll read tomorrow, and this is the energy of the week, is the manifestation, the revelation of the 10 Commandments. Oh, everyone knows what that is. Don't steal, don't covet your neighbor's wife. Like you need to be told that stuff. So on a certain level, yes, it's about a set of rules, but that's very surface. This is about the manifestation of immortality. Anytime we see the 10, it is full on immortality. The 10 plagues, the last one was the death of the firstborn. That was connection to immortality. We are on Mount Sinai. This is the major revelation event. It's manifesting immortality. It's reconnecting to the energy of the Garden of Eden, where there's a tree of life to those who take hold of it. And this is our consciousness. Where do you want your consciousness to be? In fragmentation, in death and destruction? Well, I see that going on. I understand that is a certain level of reality. That's a 1% reality. Or do I want to be connected to fulfillment, blessings, immortality, healing? That's the 99%. And when we see 10, that was what the 10 commandments were doing. They were channeling the energy of the upper realm, where there is no death, there is no illness, there is no destruction. There's only complete fulfillment and immortality. That's the energy of the week. We could just stop there, but there's so much more to talk about. So let's dive in. That's my preamble. Let's dive in to the Zohar. And remember, as we connect to these verses, we're connecting to the realm of fulfillment. And we want to have in mind where we are directing that light to. We're directing that light to Turkey, where there's a lot of pain and suffering going on, in Syria and other places of the world, and people who we know who need healing. We are responsible for directing that light. It's like we're sticking our consciousness into the outlet and directing that light to all the places that we know that it's needed. What about places we don't know? Well, we can't really do much about that other than sending it out there. But we do, it doesn't matter. All of us know of specific instances where the light is needed. And what can I do about it? I can send the energy. We have that power. And the merit and the responsibility, actually. Okay. Verse 444. Zachorja Mashabat Lakadsha, Rabbi Yitzchak Amar, Kativ Varech Elokim et Yom HaShvi'i, Uchativ Baman Sheshet Yamin Til Ketuha, V'Yom HaShvi'i Shabbat Lo Yeh Bo, Kevan Dala Mishtechach Be Mezoneh, Ma Birchata Ishechach Be. Maria?
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Shema 28.
Okay, so that's one of the 10 commandments. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. And again, it's not about the directive, that's important. It's about the internal energy. Now, this class always takes place on Friday after 12:15 Central Time. And the reason we chose that time is because after midday, the energy of Shabbat, which technically doesn't start till tonight, but after midday on Friday, our universe, our realm is already being infused with the energy of Shabbat. It's happening right, and it's happening right now because I checked the times. That was 12:15 today, just so happened to work out that way. So we are already being bathed in that energy of Shabbat, whatever that is. We're already exposed to it. It is infiltrating our consciousness in our space. So let's just be present to that. I used to think, before I was conscious of energy as energy, I used to think that Friday night afternoon was a chiller because the weekend, hey, woohoo, weekend. That's what I used to think. Because our mind has to connect the dots. I'm feeling something. It must be something. Oh, it must be the weekend this year. No. I mean, and here's my proof. If you take off Wednesday and Thursday, yeah, I mean, Tuesday night must feel like a little bit of a break. It doesn't feel like Friday does. It doesn't feel the same. Why? It's not the weekend. No, that's your 1% logical mind trying to connect the dots and make sense out of it. We do that all the time. That is not your 99% connection. That is not your soul connection. Your soul is sensing the energy of Shabbat, because that energy of Shabbat is the upper realm, and your soul knows that upper realm really well. So this is the best opportunity we have to start making a soul connection. And so that's the energy that we're feeling. Don't get confused by your body consciousness, by physicality. Well, it's sunny today. And, Chicago, I mean, there's more dark days here, cloudy days here than almost anywhere during the winter. No. That's true also. That's an added benefit. Maybe that's something that helps us to awaken our consciousness to the deeper reality that's going on. So this section, we're doubling down on that connection, because this is the commandment that deals with the energy of Shabbat and acknowledging the energy of Shabbat. Remember the Shabbat, remember it. It happens every week. Well, our memory isn't, as in, we haven't lost that much memory. What does it mean, remember? This is consciousness for us. It's Zohar, literally Zohar. This is us pulling it down from the upper realm. It's male energy. It's an awesome opportunity. It's the best opportunity of the week. The next, the 25 hours that starts with candle lighting, which is sometime around 5 p.m. Central Time today, that's an unbelievable energy. And we're going to feel it, and we want to be present to it. Why? Because it says so in the book? No, actually not. No, because it will make the world a better place. Because that energy from the upper realm that's being channeled gives us the opportunity to remove chaos from our world, to generate energy of protection from chaos, to generate energy of protection from earthquakes, from famine, from floods, from any kind of natural chaos that's out there. This is giving us the ability to channel that energy of healing and understanding and compassion, and seeing what we need to see about ourselves instead of seeing it in someone else and criticizing them for it. It's seeing a deeper truth. It's connecting to soul. Okay, so that's the verse. Let's see what the Zohar wants to tell us about that verse, in addition to what we just said. Go ahead.
Rabbi Yitzchak cited the verse, and Elohim blessed the seventh day.
Weren't the other six blessed? We know that they were. So obviously there's something special about the seventh day. Keep going.
Of the manna it is written, 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is Shabbat, on it there shall be none. He asked, if there was no food on that day, what blessing is attached to it?
Yeah, really. Now, how are we reconciling that? First of all, let's talk about manna. What was manna?
Isn't that the spiritual blessings?
Yeah,
that we
absolutely. It was physical sustenance coming from heaven every day. The children of Israel woke up for 40 years. They didn't have to go to the breakfast room, didn't have to go through the drive-in at Starbucks. No, it was right out their door. And it came down like, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I kind of get the sense that it was like it came down like some kind of fried dough thing. Bagel, donut, I'm not sure. I don't think it had a hole. But it would taste like anything. I mean, our understanding is it would taste like anything you wanted it to. I mean, that's what I was told as a kid. You eat it, if you want it to be a steak, it'd be a steak. If you want it to be a cheeseburger, it'd be a cheeseburger. If you want it to be, vanilla yogurt, that's what it would be. Literally, your consciousness determined what it was. So like they didn't have to order out. They got delivery every day for 40 years, except one exception. Why wasn't it there on Saturday? That's what the Zohar wants us to understand. It's hard to reconcile. If the Shabbat the seventh day is a blessed day, then why didn't the blessing from manna from heaven come on that day? It was so blessed. Let's read on. Let's see. Let's see what Rabbi Shimon and his students want us to understand about this. 445. Elahachi Tana kol birkan dil'ela v'tata b'yoma shvi'a talyan v'tana amayla ishtechach mana b'yoma shvi'a mishum dahu yoma mitbarchan minei kol shita yomin ila'in v'chol chad v'chad yahi mizonei l'tata kol chad b'yomoy mehai barachan mitbarchan b'yoma shvi'a.
We have learned that all the blessings from above and from below depend upon the seventh day. And we have also learned that there was no manna on the seventh day because all the 6 supernal days, which is Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, derive their blessings from it. And each of them sends forth nourishment to the world below from the blessing it received from the seventh day.
The seventh day is all about providing blessings for the other days. The seventh day is all about us removing chaos for the week to come. You know, this line came up for me this week. Which I kind of felt would fit in here pretty well. Truth is naturally coercive. You know, as on a spiritual path, on a spiritual journey, there's no place for coercion. You can't tell people what to do. I mean, you can, but it's like, that's not spiritual. Life is experiential. We're here to experience it. By saying that truth is naturally coercive, it's like, it's not coercion, a coercive coercion. It's like it's just the truth. Like, you hear the truth, you experience the truth, and it resonates inside. And we want to be present to that, always. Not so easy, because body consciousness is so overwhelming. But when you hear the truth, there is it's like a gong goes off. It's like, what was that? Unfortunately, so much about our calendar is coercive. Got to do this, then got to do this, got to do nothing. You have free will. You do whatever you want. But when we encounter the truth, we want to be open to it. When we encounter our truth and we speak our truth, we want to be present to it, because that isn't just our truth. It's our soul guiding us. And our soul gets awakened by things that are taking place around us. And one of those truths that are taking place around us is just connecting to the energy of the Zohar, whether we understand it or not. Our soul does understand it. Even better if we can actually unpack it and try and get to a deeper level of the energy and reveal that. And be awakened by that. Be awakened by that truth. So what's the truth here? Well, there's all these energy fields that we're surrounded by. We call them days. I mean, there's other energy fields too, but days essentially are just present as time-based energy field. And the most important time-based energy field of the week is Saturday, because the energy of the Garden of Eden that is infusing our reality. I'm calling it reality, but it's somewhat an illusion. But what's not an illusion is the energy that we have the potential to feel on that 25-hour period of time. And so, like, we're all going to do a lot of things during that 25-hour period of time. But one of the things that we want to be present to is that extra energy that's available and the specialness of that energy. And so the Zohar just says, like, two conflicting things, actually. One is, if the manna came from heaven for 40 years and it was there every day, why wasn't it there on Saturday? If Saturday was such a blessed day, the seventh day. And now it's saying the seventh, all these 6 supernal days derive their blessing from it. Like the 7th day, the other 6 days are deriving their blessing from the 7th day. And each of those 6 sfirot of the upper realm are sending nourishment to the world below. And where did that blessing come from? From the 7th day. So there's this whole circular thing going on. But what's important to understand is that, yes, there is a heating and air conditioning system that is present in our homes and our office buildings. And in some places, we don't even have the key to operate the thermostat. But in your reality, your consciousness is all you need to turn on the air, to turn up the heat, to turn up the air conditioning where it's necessary. That's the control that we have. Our consciousness directs that light from the upper realm to the places that it's needed. And so this is the power of the 6 days of the week, and this is the power of the 7th day of Shabbat. It's giving us opportunities to manifest energy from the upper realm. And the greatest opportunity of all is the 7th day, which is infused. They all are infused with energy of creation. But the 7th day is at least doubly apportioned. Yes, Chana, I see your hand up.
Thank you. So, there are many times that my husband will come back from church on Sunday, and during I think it's called a homily, they make reference, the pastor or priest makes reference to the energy of the week, which is the Torah portion. Does it make the significance of the Sabbath for non-Jewish people any less significant? If we're looking at the source of defining the Sabbath on a Friday night to Saturday.
Wait, I'm not sure.
And they're looking at their Sabbath from just on Sunday.
Look, I can only speak to it from a Kabbalistic perspective, and that's the 7th day is Friday night, Saturday. I can't speak to the other practices. I mean, there are all kinds of spiritual paths and practices. And, everyone is, listen, just recently we read about the splitting of the Red Sea. The story is that there were 12 paths, not one. Everybody's got a different path. Each of the tribes walked a different path. Let's continue. Where do we leave off? I think we're at 446. Ulugine kachman deiu bidarga dehamanuta by lesadra patora ulat kana sudata belelia de shabata begin di barech patore kol inun shita yomin daha behau zimna is daman barachal it barcha kol shita yomin de shabata uvirchata la ishtechach b'far Torah rekanaya be'alkach by lesadra patore belelia de shabata.
Therefore, he who was attained the grade of faith must prepare a table and a meal on Shabbat Eve, so that his table may be blessed all through the other 6 days.
Okay, so for us, we're talking about the importance of setting the table. Is that really it? Set the table? No, of course not. Yes, set the table, but that's neither here nor there. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of taking action. So the things that we do where there's action involved is our opportunity to manifest energy from the upper realm. So how do we manifest energy on Shabbat? Well, the one thing is a consciousness and being present to what we're feeling and what we're experiencing. And experiencing, as I said at the outset, not that the weekend is here, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. No. Is being present energetically to what's going on and connecting it to the 99% understanding, not the 1% understanding, which is just the weekend. And that's why Friday afternoon is such a chiller. It's not that. So it's like step one is consciousness, just being open to this idea that energetically things are different. And how do we take it next level? There are things that we do physically. That's where this idea of setting the table comes up. It's doing things to manifest that energy we're connecting to. So what do we typically do on a Shabbat, on Sabbath, to usher in this energy? We start with a glass of wine and breaking bread. Literally, it's those two physical items which initiates us in manifesting that energy of Shabbat. And then that's where setting the table comes in. Keep going.
For at that time, blessing is prevalent for all the 6 weekdays. For no blessing is found at an empty table.
No blessing is found at an empty table. Everything we encounter here has a vessel. The question is, can we fill that vessel with light? That table is an empty vessel. By setting the table, we are filling it with light. Keep going.
Therefore, one should make ready the table on Shabbat Eve with bread and other foods, in order to derive blessings from all the 6 days.
So this is how we are working towards manifesting blessings for the whole week. And that should be our consciousness. Let's keep going. 447. Rabbi Yitzchak Amar, afilu b'yomah deshabta name. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, ba'elit anga b'hayoma, u'lamechal talat sudate b'shabata. Begin the yishtechach shava b'inuga b'hayoma b'alma.
Rabbi Yitzchak said, also on Shabbat day, one should prepare the table with meals and draw blessings for the other 6 days. Rabbi Yehuda added, one must enjoy himself on this day with 3 meals, in order to there will be satisfaction and pleasure in the world on that day.
Okay, so we're doing all this stuff. We're manifesting this energy. What is the role? What does that mean? One must enjoy himself. How can you be commanded to enjoy? Have a good time. So what our teachers explain is that there is a short list of things we need to do that are really serious. But the vast majority, and I heard Michael actually say this last Saturday when he was asked the question, what's the role of joy on the spiritual journey? And he said, he said basically, we have some things that we have to do, there's so much, a short list, and the rest of the time we need to be enjoying ourselves. Like, when it's not to be taken too seriously. There is like a heaviness that sometimes surrounds all of this. But we need to enjoy ourselves.
I think some people need to be commanded to have a good time.
Some people probably do, but to a certain degree, it's like this, because it's not really, you can't be forced to have a good time. To a certain degree, it's just like this is awakening us to the importance of taking it lightly, of really enjoying ourselves, of really setting it up so that it's the most enjoyable part of our week. So it is weekend. It is the weekend. It is us enjoying that. 1 second, Jack. Yeah, Mandy, did you have something else you wanted to add? Did I see your hand go up? Jackie?
I think Maria was next. Thank you. But
Okay,
I'll be after her.
okay, Maria?
So this thought has been lingering since we started reading. And because we're talking about preparing on Shabbat and for Shabbat and the timing and so forth, right? And everything is consciousness, right? And at least myself, preparing myself through the next 25 hours, right? But it just, and I disconnect from truly the physicality, the TV and stuff, because I'm trying to work within me, my soul and connection and what I need to do. But why is it that when I then connect back to the 1%, which is I turn back the TV, right, and see what's going on, even if I want to watch a movie, whatever, advertising, then comes the bad news that happened during the weekend, during that window when we have this beautiful energy. Why all this negativity happening, the killings, the robbery, the thing, and that is just like, so we're working so hard at least, and then I feel that I'm being pulled back to that reality that I'm living in, actually.
I mean, this is why, it's a great question. This is why we just have to be careful with what we let into our consciousness. And I would say, specifically during that 25-hour period, we should be really careful about what we let in. It's like, I don't want to ignore the problems of the world. I'm actually being conscious about sending energy of healing everywhere. And to a certain degree, when we're exposed to like terrible things going on, it's our opportunity to send positive energy there. But we have to be careful, and our teachers talk about this. We have to be careful about what we let into our heads, about what we allow ourselves to be exposed to. And we have to draw boundaries around that. So, each of us is going to draw those boundaries in different ways because we have to figure out what's best for us. Like that's our experience. Is that helpful?
It helps. It helps. I see it. But I mean, I think that the Creator is sending us, the light is sending us so much messages out here, then a lot of us in this physicality don't get it. Another example will be.
Yeah, no, right. A lot,
Right.
but I'm only really responsible for my consciousness.
Right. But another example will be the earthquake that just took place early in the week. Well, early in the week where we celebrating the tree and we were analyzing where it comes from the earth all the way and how it manifests into this reality and the branches and beautiful, but then the earth is shaking. So what is that message? What is that? Why is the Creator being so aggressive and so harsh with us, making us see something and we still, and again, I just have to do my part, right? Which is just
Exactly right. You answered the question. It's like, I got to do my part. This is what we're dealing with. This is in our movie. If it's in our movie, there's a reason.
Go ahead, Jackie.
No, I just wanted to say it was like, yeah, to your comment, I stopped watching the news during COVID when the nursing homes were affected. It was too much. And I just stopped watching TV. So yes, I'm very conscious of what I expose myself to. But at the same time, when David was talking, it was reminding me of, the difference between blessings and curses. And yes, I don't think, I guess I need to work on my consciousness so that it, looking back in retrospect, I could have, instead of seeing all the tragedy during COVID, I could have said, okay, what can I do and try to get out of it as an exercise, as that muscle that needs to be exercised, as, what can I do? How can I bring positivity to it? Because that I saw as a curse. But it was, but it's only a point of view. It's like we all can't have the same point of view. There's always different points of views. So
Yeah, no, that's helpful. Listen, we encounter toxicity. And that we are responsible for creating boundaries around being exposed to toxicity, energetic toxicity. I mean, and in the media, let's face it, the TV is all about, eyeballs on screens.
Yeah.
I knew someone who's in the hotel business, and they explained to me, the hotel business is all about heads on beds. Well, it is. And media is all about eyeballs. So what can I do to get more eyeballs? Because that's what drives the revenue. That's the agenda. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just that's the business. But I'm responsible for my eyeballs. Literally. I'm responsible for what I allow myself to be exposed to. And you can draw boundaries around what media you expose yourself to.
Mhm.
You can do that. But that doesn't mean the universe isn't going to try and hit you in other ways. It's still going to. Still going to. So chaos shows up in many different ways. It's like there are people that are in my safe zone that, don't always show up in their best, as the best version of themselves. They just don't. So, this is what we are navigating. And sometimes we actually have to go left column on them. We have to show up with energy of judgment. That's what they need to hear. Well, how do I know? How do I know when that's needed? And I'm not going to pretend to tell you I know, even when it's needed in my life. I ask my guides for help. So, what is our takeaway in terms of the energy that's available to us for this week? So this is, I can hear Michael saying, this is the most important, week of the year. He says it a lot, but he's not bound by limiting that. He says that as an expansive line is so many times, but this is an amazing opportunity this week because we are connecting to the revelation of the 10 Commandments, which is not about the literature and some kind of sense of Judeo-Christian ethics. There's that aspect of it, but that's not going deep. Going deep is the connection to the upper realm. It's the connection to the world to come. It's the connection to the energy that flows through to our realm. And as Michael explained last Saturday morning, you got a choice. You can plant the tree on a 1% level, it'll grow and then it'll die. Or you can plant the tree on the 99% level. That's the tree of life. That's the tree that's sustainable. That is the energy of immortality that we're connecting to this week. And what's our role in planting the tree? I got the seed, I put it in the ground. I'm directing as much positivity and nourishment to that seed so that it can sprout, have a strong foundation, and provide nourishment to the world, fruit and oxygen.
That's having a fertile soil.
It's having a fertile soil, and it's our ability to direct the energy from the upper realm to that seed. And it's not just the seed, it's everything that we do. And it's also, Maria, I'm glad you brought it up, for us, seed level is our consciousness. And if we allow our consciousness to be drawn off track, it's not the right seed. We need a seed of compassion, of understanding, of sharing, of removing chaos from the world, and immortality and healing. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you all for joining. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Thank
Shabbat
you.
shalom.